Welcome to the Under the Hood podcast, Unplugged.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Under the Hood Unplugged with me, Gabe McCarthy, and Tony Eads.
Yes, thank you very much. And we're in our comfy seats, our
loungewear,
loungewear, slippers. The fire is roaring in the corner there.
When did they install that? Wow.
Actually, I don't think it's supposed to be there.
No,
call the fire brigade.
That's a health hazard.
But the whole idea of Unplugged is to, kind of sit back and just take a moment to think about what's on our minds, things that might be on your minds. As you're sitting back at the moment, maybe you're going out for a jog and we're slowing you down and you're listening to the podcast version, of course. But yeah, what's on your mind this time around?
Well, we were talking before, Tony, from a sales and marketing perspective, right? We talked to a lot of salespeople, a lot of marketing people, and it's usually the same conversation. Like a lot of them are running businesses or a part of a business and a big part of that business. They might be the marketing manager, the head of sales. And what we're seeing, and I think you explained it quite eloquently before, was that, it's a real tussle these days to figure out how much time you should be spending sorting out your business, like structuring it, especially with all like the new tools like AI tools cropping up, versus as well actually just selling your product or service. You know, like it's kind of a chicken and egg situation, but I get the struggle and I sympathize with a lot of the clients we deal with who deal with this constant struggle where we tell them you should spend some time, figure out your buyer journeys, your personas, your blah, blah, blah. And then how does that affect your technology? And then how you should be investing here and there and spending more time learning this versus them just thinking, well, I'm done with this meeting. I'm going to go out and just keep doing my job and selling. Right?
Yeah, I think, we kind of feel like we're all against the clock. Like I think people would actually agree with us on this, that you're constantly under the pump. It's kind of like, we've got to get this done. There's never enough hours in the day. And yet we know, I think there's this kind of FOMO, this fear of missing out because the world around us is changing. Things are changing. Technology's coming out. Everyone's like buzzing around about this AI revolution and everything like that. And meanwhile, you're over here just trying to get your job done, trying to keep your head above water, and pay the bills and all that kind of stuff with the cost of living and everything like that. So, what's the balance? I think we definitely have to have a balance because I think if you're standing still today in business, you're going backwards. Like there is no way you can run a business today and just keep level. I think you're going backwards because everything is moving forward so fast. And if you miss out, if you don't spend time to, kind of invest in learning some of the new things that are happening and you're just buried down, like is it the ostrich that buries the head in the sand and then looks up and hopes it's all changed and then buries the head again? You're going to come up, your head's going to come up, you're going to look around and the world's going to be a totally different place because you've just been doing it every day and not planning for the future.
Yeah, we got a perfect client example who will not be named. You know exactly who I'm talking to.
Protecting the guilty.
Who, has been running a business for a long time and has always thought it sells one way. It went from being very traditional to more digital and, the translation didn't necessarily work. And noted during that transition that there was a huge reduction in growth, kind of like flatlined and there was barely any increase each year of new subscribers or whatever. And so, it was kind of a real tussle to deal with this particular client because they were stuck in this mindset, like you said, that head in the sand mentality. But I think it comes with a sense of like respect as well for how much they hustled back in the day to achieve what they got and thinking that hard-earned grit is what makes or breaks a business. And maybe it does, like, you know what I mean? Like you could still keep pushing. The best salesperson could sell you anything. Like Wolf of Wall Street is a perfect example of that. Yeah. A whole way you could sell. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but the problem I think you raise is a good one is that like to take it to the next era, to keep being relevant and to keep expanding your business. Now, how do you approach that? I think your examples of going to events and doing your keynotes and all of that is a good example, one, of yourself learning that stuff and presenting it back to people to show them, like, and giving them actual good value from those prezos.
Yeah.
It's really important to be doing that, and to be going to those events is even more important.
100%, because you're actually meeting real people. See, a lot of times now, I think post-COVID, we're so used to doing, it's just so convenient and easy just to set up a Zoom meeting. But it's amazing. When you go to these events, networking or, functions or whatever it is, you actually get to meet real people and have real conversations that just don't happen on Zoom. I'll tell you one thing that I did kind of years ago, which I think is something now that probably people should consider. It's very hard to, out of your day say, all right, I'm going to stop for 2 hours and I'm going to look at some new technology, right? Because your mind isn't in the right space. So I worked out, and I did this for a while actually, where I would work on the business for 4 days, or in the business for 4 days, and one day, and generally it was a Friday, would be my on the business day. So for that day, I wouldn't be working. I wouldn't have meetings. I wouldn't have planned anything. I'd just have 4 solid days, Monday to Thursday. So I felt like I'd achieved something, looking after clients, servicing, selling, all that kind of stuff. And then the 5th day would be working on the business. So using strategy like we talk about, thinking about better ways to do things, testing out new technology. And I think nowadays that's something for people to think about. Could you work your week out so that you have one day to work on you or on your business?
And maybe not even like a whole one day, but, at least a good chunk of a day where you could just be focusing. Like, I mean, that worked for you in your particular industry type, but maybe it's not applicable to everyone else's.
Well, I don't know, mate, because, people talk about the 4-day week or the 9-day fortnight or whatever it is. So if you can achieve that, I mean, the incentive there, of course, is you've got one day off to go and fish or swim or whatever you want to. But if you're very much focused on growth, if you really want to grow as a person or you want to grow as a business, isn't it worth that investment? You could still get your job done in 4 days, the same as the 4-day week works, right? It's 36 hours over 4 days. So you may be working, 9 hours a day or whatever that might be for your 4 days, which, to be honest, most of us probably do anyway. And then you're allowing yourself one day. How much excitement would you have for that Friday? It could be a Monday, it could be a Wednesday. It doesn't have to be a Friday. But imagine how powerful that will be for your own knowledge and growth, as well as anything else. Now I'm probably setting the cat amongst the worms here, because the powers that be will be telling me, what were you talking about? Telling everybody they can have a day off on Friday.
Only if you partly own the business, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's right. My name is John Smith, by the way, and I'm not who you think I am.
No, look, I don't disagree with that. I know it's a good thought. It is circumstantial, I think, and it is. Look, I'm listening to an audiobook at the moment, which is Ready, Fire, Aim, which Andrew Levy,
he wrote it, did he?
No, he's regional lead. Put me onto it. Didn't write it. Maybe he likes to think he did, but
that's right. He inspired it.
He inspired it, exactly. But it's a good read, and it talks about the concept of Ready, Fire, Aim, which is that you just get yourself prepped for your business, and then go sell. Just go sell. Make that first sale. Figure out from selling how you could sell better, how you could put your product better. Don't spend millions of hours on the actual product and yourself. Just sell. And then to that point, once you've reached that, like 80% of the time or 100% of the time I'm selling, work yourself back to just being 80% of your time selling, which is, to your point, maybe a 4-day week.
Yep.
And then the other 20% is the next day, which then aligns perfectly with like spend that time sorting out your marketing, educating yourself on new tools, sorting out your admin, whatever it might be. Maybe it's wrapping all those things into that day, that could create that efficiency. Because, it's a mindset change, but it's a tussle. I think it depends on industry.
You've also got to think about how important it is, right? Everything comes back to priorities. I think we live in a world now, business-wise or personal-wise or whatever, where things are very agile. Like, there is so much change going on in our world right now in terms of how we do business, how we live, all of those kind of stuff. It's changing every year, and technology is only one part of it. There's social stuff, there's a whole bunch of things happening in our world. So, I think sometimes we have to look back and say, well, the rules of yesterday aren't necessarily the rules that we have to play today. Maybe you've got to break a few, bend a few. You know what I mean? Just to make life a lot more enjoyable, a lot more fun. I mean, we've talked about this, putting fun back into work. Because when you think about it, if you're doing it all the time, there's not much fun in it. You kind of finish the end of the week and you're completely worn out.
Yeah.
And you maybe look back and think, well, I achieved this, but I created that problem. I've got this issue to deal with. And then somehow you got to forget about it for 2 days while you have a weekend. And then it's all waiting for you when you come back again on Monday. You know what I mean? I think sometimes we've got to challenge the way we live and maybe even, like I like to say, rethink the way you do business today. And is it as efficient? But I like that, whatever it was, ready,
fire aim.
Yeah, that kind of way, because sometimes we get too bogged down with getting it right, like over reading our emails, making sure they're word for word, spending hours and hours. And we know a few people like that, that then send the email out because they're thinking it's a written piece of stuff. But, you've got AI that can generate your emails for you. We talk about that on one of our Under the Hood episodes. So, utilizing technology to help you do things easier and better may free you up to actually have some time to think about technology.
Yeah, look, I think this busy, and you mentioned this earlier, this busy economy that we live in now where, everything's skyrocketing in price, and so therefore the focus is more on sales. The balancing of the scale might be, like you said, that AI introduction of tools and stuff that could improve efficiencies and therefore, free yourself up, to do the other stuff for part of your work that you want to do versus stuff you have to do.
Yeah.
And I agree.
See, that's good. That's where you're going to love AI. If AI comes in and takes away all the crap that you don't want to do and you can focus on the stuff that you do want to do, then life's going to be happier.
Yeah, I agree. So it's a mindset change I think we can agree on, is that moving forward, if you want to find out more technologies and more ways of doing business better for yourself and make your work fun, then change your mindset and start, developing that over time. Don't do it overnight. I think going cold turkey, you'll just end up probably just burning yourself out, but progressively work yourself there. And then eventually, I think to your point, have that one day, or have, a good chunk of hours for that one day where you're just dedicated, to doing what you need to do.
And I think, you're right, because you've also got to realize it's not just you, right? If you're trying to create an environment so you can have a day off or half a day off just to work on yourself or work on your business, there's other people you've got to consider, your customers. You have to, over time, train the fact that your customers aren't going to contact you on that period of time. Your other work colleagues aren't going to start to know that, hey, I can't get hold of Gabe on a Friday morning because that's his thinking or rethinking time.
That's his thinking time.
He doesn't do it any other time of the week, only for a Friday morning. So
let's hope he's thinking about my account.
Let's not disturb him while he thinks, because he's only got half a day's worth of thinking in that head of his. But you know what? I think start training people around you. So that's what it is, because I think that's the thing that derails you, is you have all the best intentions to say Friday mornings is my work on me and work on my business time, and then all of a sudden someone books a damn meeting right in the middle of your Friday morning.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. We've got some people who do that in our office already, who book out their times. We do it a lot, book out good chunks so that we don't get disturbed for those. But, it's not consistent, but to that point, maybe it should be, let's work towards that. And I think that's a good place to end. Let's work on being more consistent and freeing up ourselves to innovate, learn, and just enjoy what we do.
Sounds good. I'm going to put another log on that fire, if it is a fire.
Yeah. Well, it's just Tinders at the moment. Yeah, although I did bring some marshmallows. Do you want to bring out some marshmallows?
Well, we'll let the folks go, because I don't think they want to hear us cooking marshmallows.
No, I'm going to get the marshmallows out. Get that. There we go. Here's one for you.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. And now I've got one. There we go. Here's a stick. I brought a stick from outside. Here we go. There's a stick.
Nothing like coming well prepared, is there?
I don't know why I'm miming. I'm handing you things. They can't see this, but yes.
Yeah. But just imagine us sitting by a fire that doesn't exist, or the place is burning down. We can't work out what it is. But certainly we're all relaxed. Hopefully you're relaxed too, and you've enjoyed a little unplugging.
Yes, a bit smoky in here. We might.
Although they were spicy. Are these magic mushrooms? Magic
marshmallows. Okay.
Magic marshmallows. That's a whole new brand.
That's a whole new thing.
That sounds like another episode. Let's have a couple of those and carry on recording.
Let's see. Might be more sensible than what we actually just said. Who knows? Thank you for joining us on Under the Hood Unplugged. We'll see you next time.
Bye.